Good morning and welcome to Astro Insights Live. My name is Jennifer Rose, and below me is my wife, Mel Rose, astrologer, tarot card reader. And we are here every Sunday at 10 a.m. to talk with you about the astrology for the upcoming week. And we also talk about our favorite astrological aspects of this week. And we round it out with a quick tarot card reading. So hopefully that you will hang in here with us. We're here for about 45 minutes to an hour sometimes, just depending. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We are so close to being able to monetize. We only need 1,000 subscribers, and I think we're at 847. So it would be really great if you could subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell, because sometimes we just plop in videos that we don't schedule, and we would like for you to know exactly when that happens. So good morning,
Absolutely.
Mel.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you this morning?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
So, uh, excuse me. Thank you so much for joining us. And I really don't have too much to say except for to please subscribe, and I will be monitoring the chat while Mel starts the Astrology Today portion of the show. So, Mel, I'm going to turn it over to you
Okay.
and monitor the chat.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, my sweet friends. How are we doing? Let's check in. It's a heck of a lot going on out there in the world. Much of it is distressing, some of it is affirming. How are you holding up? Let me know in the chat, or let me know in an email. You can send it to Rose Tarot Astrology at gmail.com. How did the eclipse and full moon in Virgo last week treat you all? And have there been any upheavals in your lives? What's starting and what seems to be ending? If you're not going to let us know, at least reflect on it a little bit for yourself, because this is the material that we're working with right now. Any big changes, no matter how normal or good we'd say those changes are bound to have an impact. And this is when it becomes rather important to take extra good care of ourselves, okay? So I really hope you've done a good job this week taking care of yourself. I can say I've been doing my best. We all fall short of the ideal, but it's good to give yourself a little grace. Cut yourself some slack, friends, because you're going through some big changes. Hey, friends, welcome back. I am Mel Rose, and today is Sunday, March 8, 2026. Getting into this week, I just want to say it won't be as bumpy a ride as the last few weeks have been, and that hopefully rings true, and hopefully can give us all a little bit of ease in our lives. The sun is currently in Pisces. The moon is now a waning gibbous moon in Scorpio. So this is a very watery vibration. Like fish in the water, we are steeped in something that we can't necessarily see, but that we use instinctively to move around. We can feel the ripples in our connections to others. And I encourage you to think of your feelings as information that comes in to help you navigate that experience. For context, Saturn is still conjunct to Neptune, which means that from our perspective, they look like they're pretty much in the same spot in the sky, less than 2 degrees apart now, as slow-moving Saturn has already passed much slower-moving Neptune. And this conjunction is happening at the very, very beginning of Aries, which is the beginning of the entire zodiac wheel. So it's a big deal that it shows us that some things are dissolving, going away, or have dissolved. And we're asking ourselves, where is the ground I can stand on? What can I do to establish some security, or at least just a place where I can stand and fight, something that I can defend? And what am I defending anyway? It's not to say that we have nothing to defend. We definitely do have to be prepared to defend ourselves, our ways of life, our loved ones, and our homes, our neighbors. I just want you to be sure that the defensiveness you practice right now is covering something practical. There's a difference between defending what you love and simply being defensive in general. Speaking of defensive, Mercury is currently retrograde in Pisces. It's Mercury's least favorite sign to travel because Pisces is generally pretty quiet or peaceful, and Mercury communicates, struggling to be heard in Pisces. So now that Mercury is moving backward in Pisces, again, that's from our perspective, my guidance is that we should be looking and listening for the parts that go unsaid, the questions we decided not to ask or why, the details that are being held back. What are your complaints and your desires and your unmet needs? Where is it that you've been looking for something, asking for something, trying for something, and it is not coming forth, but especially when it comes to information or knowing what somebody's plan is. We want to make sure that the questions get answered right. Everyone is holding something back, okay? Don't take it personally, and don't assume that you know, but do hold space for there to be more than meets the eye when it comes to the people we meet and the routines that we are rotating through right now. We are picking up some good vibrations today, though. Venus has just entered Aries, where she's meeting up with Neptune and Saturn. And I'm calling this a good thing. I have Venus in Aries. It's actually pretty intense and likely to spark some of those conversations that we've been having around the things that are falling apart and the new foundations that we'd like to establish, especially where it concerns our finances, like the compensation and gifts that we'd like to receive, and also where it concerns our romantic entanglements. Venus meets up with Saturn today, and you may be surprised to find that you're drawn to something that's a little like taking medicine for your own good. And that's to say that the sacrifice may not be pleasant, the flavor may not be pleasant, but the work may be more, and the work may be more than you'd like to do, but the outcome means that you will have established something that will last. So while we're looking around for that ground that we have to stand on, Venus is saying, yeah, look at that ground over there that looks really practical and maybe a little bit hard to do, because that's probably what we need to be drawn to next. Also today, Mercury, again, retrograde in Pisces, sings in harmony with lucky, plucky Jupiter, which is retrograde in Cancer. Jupiter has a lot of aspects or conversations with other planets going right now. Many of them are working to make certain that things go very naturally easy. So go with your gut, okay? Mercury and Jupiter are both retro in water signs, so this points to inner reckoning, looking inside. Our feelings, emotions, desires, and attachments are undergoing a review right now that hopefully in time will make it clear to us which of these plans or potentials that we're entertaining is the best for our benefit and which is not the best for our benefit. So let's pull all that together for what's happening as of today. Venus and Saturn are showing us ways to be satisfied by getting practical fulfillment, giving us reasons to play the long game. Mercury and Jupiter ask that we check in with our emotional and intuitive senses. What excites us? What fills you with hope, my friends? In the end, it's about gearing up to establish new foundations where old ones have crumbled. It's about knowing what we want from the future that the past may or may not have provided. It's our opportunity to dream up the design before 3D printing it in concrete. And that's where we're at, the very beginning of the beginning, the final days of the end. It all overlaps, right? Winter seeps over into spring. The old gives way to the new. Tomorrow, Monday, March 9, the moon moves on into Sagittarius. Moon in Sagittarius brings that personal life focus up out of the concern for personal integrity where it is in Scorpio and into that desire for spreading passion and inspiration. Also tomorrow, Venus in Aries cooperates with Pluto in Aquarius, and that's kind of a big deal. Venus is bold in Aries, but perhaps not very effective because she's answering to Mars in Pisces. So Mars and Venus are both in weak signs for themselves. All the same, we may have the courage to accept logical and contemporary alternatives to old ways of doing business and partnership. Pluto and Venus offer us good cooperation. You can make a conscious choice to embrace a change that you see coming in. So, nothing ever stays the same. And if you see a change that's coming up that you need to, probably put your arms around and say, okay, this isn't so bad. Again, along the lines of that Venus conjuncting Saturn, being drawn to what's practical and sort of putting aside old things in favor of new. That's what this week is bringing us. While the sun is in Pisces and the moon is in Sagittarius, lucky plucky Jupiter in Cancer rules the sky. And that's so appropriate because on Tuesday, the 10th, Jupiter stations direct, friends. I feel this is a day for good news to come across. I wouldn't break the bank, but I might go out and play a lottery ticket either today, this Sunday, or this Tuesday. It feels like a good time to put yourself in the place where you want to feel lucky or win big. And then late on Wednesday, the 11th, the moon moves on into Capricorn, and our personal life focus comes back around to the desire to do work, to put sweat equity into our ambitions being realized. Wednesday night through Saturday morning, not much happens besides what's already going on. The sun in Pisces, the moon in Capricorn, them being sextile so they can work together. The moon is waning all week, which invites us to disperse, dispense, dispose of anything that's cluttering up our home and our creative environment. And then on Saturday, the 14th, the moon moves on into Aquarius, and that personal life point of view zooms way out and starts thinking about our friends, our community, our cohorts, the people we rely on in the collective, and the people themselves. The health of these things is important to our own well-being as individuals. You know, we can only do so well as as those of us who are doing the best are doing, and really, is if any of us are going without things that we need, then we're all kind of going without something that we need, especially considering the eclipse action of this past week. And this Sunday, the 15th, the moon is still in Aquarius. Mercury retro will meet up with Mars in Pisces, and then it's like whoosh. And this looks to me, it feels to me a little bit like a flushing action, okay? It's so close to the new moon on Wednesday, the 18th, especially considering the eclipse action of this last few weeks. This feels like we're finally getting rid of something or putting something behind us that was really stinking up the room, friends, or putting something behind us that was really kind of ruining the experience for us. I would really encourage you to consider doing a ritual of release and binding away from you all irrelevant materials and connections, all that is not yours to concern yourself with. And that is the astrology for the week, friends. Thank you so much for joining us here at Astro Insights. We're here every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Please join us on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Or you can watch this in a replay later on. Please like the video if you got anything out of this that you felt was good guidance to take you through the week. And please subscribe to our channel. We're really looking forward to hitting 1,000 people so that we can start providing this content a little more and more, like we have more time to commit to providing the content. So thank you so much for being here, friends. Now Jennifer is going to come back and we're going to discuss our favorite astrology of the week. And there it is. Yay, Jennifer, welcome back.
In true Mercury form, I can see that we have a pretty decent delay. So wait a couple of seconds before speaking.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the favorite astrology aspect of the week portion, and I don't know if Mel has had an opportunity to think about this. And Mel, as I was talking to you about my aspect that I was choosing today, I realized that I left out a whole other part of my chart with that, with what's happening here. So mine is, of course, it's on my cell phone, what I wanted to say about it. So I like the Venus, no, it's Jupiter and Cancer. The lucky, lucky, lucky Jupiter and Cancer.
Yeah, Jupiter's going direct and it's having a lot of conversations while it's doing that.
Right. And so for me, this is affecting my first house. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I looked this up properly, but anyway, I love this because I always feel lucky, and I I have some just like fun luck that happens to me, like maybe free donuts or a free soda here or free this this, or I get a gift card in the mail or something, and I love that kind of luck. But for me, I'm a Saturn-led chart. For me right now, practicality rules. And since Jupiter is in Cancer, and something that I'm working on is about, like, where are we going to live? Like, where are we going to put down our roots and our home, for the
Mhm.
next however long? We're 53 years old and we're thinking about where we want to go, an intentional community at 55 plus. Do we make our own, And I have an
Mhm.
idea and a scheme and a dream, and I'm just kind of working on this behind the scenes and not telling a whole lot of people. And I feel like this is a really lucky time to maybe have some conversations with people now. For me, this is also, my Saturn is also like a 10th house little, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but if I'm honest. But so it's really about public roles for me, and
Mhm.
I could really use um, a little oomph, a little luck in the public roles, section.
Mhm.
So for me, what I do is, because I'm a rising sign of Capricorn, I present as a very um, disciplined, regimented, um, kind of like a I don't know, like a rule-oriented person, and that's what people
Yes.
see, I think, when they see me first or when they encounter me, and then they figure out I'm just kind of a little lazy Gen X person. And I do have discipline and everything, but I kinda want you to have the discipline and, like, I'm
Mhm.
the rules kind of person,
Mhm.
in all honesty, so I'm a little confusing for people. But so I like having this energy for luck. Of course, I'm gonna probably buy a lottery ticket. I always buy a lottery ticket. If I look and something catches my eye in that lottery machine, I'll buy, and Mel can
Mhm.
attest to the fact that I win, I think,
Mhm.
pretty decently, even if it's just $1 or a ticket, because you gotta keep playing to win, right?
Yeah.
That's just one way that I like to do that. I don't know. But in the longer scheme of things, I'm also planning my finances, and I've taken on some way to make some money, and I'm looking forward to making some progress on these things that are not just dreams. Like, I'm tired of just
Mhm.
saying what I want and dreaming about what I want and planning what I want and never putting any action into it. So I'm grateful for Aries pushing my Venus ass forward, lately. And I'm going to use my Venus to, attract my people and the circumstances that I need in order to,
Mhm.
go forward, with everything. And I also just wish a little luck on other people. And I just have to say right now, just for the record, if I ever won the lottery, millions and millions of dollars, I would probably give away a lot of it. So yeah.
So what I want to say about Jupiter for you right now is that Jennifer has her rising sign in Capricorn, so she's ruled by Saturn, but she has Jupiter conjunct her ascendant, so that can really change the way you come across to people because it's in your rising sign. That's how you dawn on people. So she does come across as sort of serious and rule oriented. People treat her like she's a daddy or a cop or something like that a lot of the time. Um, she does make some terrible dad jokes sometimes. Um, but, the Jupiter, it adds enthusiasm, it adds a lot of faith. Jennifer has a lot of faith in the people that she interacts with, or she tries to put faith in the people that she interacts with. And it also just adds this kind of tendency uh, to be a little over the top, to overdo it a little bit, right? Jennifer likes to show up as herself, like really being herself, And the Jupiter that's in the sky right now is in the sign opposite to your rising sign. It's in Cancer. So uh, Jupiter opposite your Jupiter, uh, you might be feeling a little bit pulled in two directions. Like, yeah, I want bigger practical opportunities, but what I'm seeing is bigger emotional opportunities.
Mhm.
And we've got to kind of like narrow the gap so that we can see that emotional opportunities are practical opportunities and the other way around, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Isn't there something about the location that we live in? We're on my Jupiter line, our Jupiter line.
We're on your Jupiter ascending line, and this makes it a really like fortunate place for you to live in the world. Like this is just a place where it's easy to get your needs met.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. That's
Yeah.
exactly how the community has been for me here in Missouri, as long as I've lived here. So I'm looking for more of that, and I'm feeling that coming in. I've been going back to the town that Mel and I grew up in a lot, and reconnecting with some of the people there, and it just reminded me of the reason why I loved being there for the most part, and just the relationships that I still have from that time. It makes me very happy, and so I don't
Nice.
know. I just think there's going to be some luck here as far as, my practical ways and means. And,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to think about that, when I'm going through my days and like if I see opportunities to be vulnerable and talk to someone that I might trust about it, then maybe I'll do that in hopes of, something, at least a
Yeah.
conversation open.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, part of what it tells me is that if we can apply our sense of, sort of faith and our desire to expand and be a bigger influence in the world, if we can combine that love for our past and our friends and our loved ones with that attraction to something practical, then maybe we can build something together that really will stand the test of time. So I think that's really positive, and I see that that's where your brain has been this week anyway.
Yeah, my brain and my body.
Yeah.
So what about you? What about an aspect for you?
So my favorite part of this week is, well, okay, you took my favorite part because it was Jupiter going direct, but and Jupiter directing Cancer, Cancer is my rising sign, so I have been experienced a lot of personal expansion and personal reasons for faith and personal reasons to work on bigger things in my life. While Jupiter has been in Cancer, it's really had an effect on myself, so I'm really happy about that. Going direct because it always makes me feel very lucky and happy, and especially because it's almost spring. But that's not my favorite one of the week because that was your favorite one of the week. My favorite one of the week is Venus entering Aries. Well, Venus entered Aries last week, but um, meeting up with Neptune and Saturn in the sky. That's really big, big news. That conjunction of Neptune and Saturn at the very beginning of Aries. We have never had this happen before in all of human history, friends. So this is this has been a long time coming. Um, and it really does mark like a new beginning, a new cycle. It's happening right at the beginning of the whole zodiac. And so for Venus, for these planets to then meet up with Saturn and Neptune at the beginning of Aries, as these faster moving inner personal planets move past this conjunction, it's going to spark that bigger energy of new beginnings, but it's also going to show us where things are ending and beginning, dissolving and or being created. Again, it all overlaps, right? In our own lives, and I think that's really something. Venus in Aries. I have Venus in Aries in my chart. It does make one a little bit bold. It's not comfortable. It's sometimes a little bit awkward because I'm going in pursuit of the thing I'm trying to attract. That's what Venus and Aries does. It's not really natural for Venus. Venus says, "Come here," and Venus says, "Come here," and Venus and Aries says, "Come here." Yeah. So it can be a little bit awkward and funny when Venus is in Aries, but we do feel bold. We do feel bright. We do feel as though, you know. We do feel as though we can show up as ourselves. We can, wear those bright, flowery springtime colors that attract attention to ourselves. People with Venus and Aries will observe a pretty probably bright dress code in general. um, I was aware of black for a long time, but I really like bright colors, and I also like garish combinations in my fashion. So uh, don't be afraid to adopt a little bit of a bright and even mismatched style while Venus is in Aries, because we always got to try on something a little bit new and different and see if it works for us.
That resonates with me, and we can't say why, but that's definitely something happening for me.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. This is the perfect timing then.
Hmm.
Yay. Well, I'm sorry, not sorry that I stole your aspect, but I like yours. And I like that, I like the forward motion. I know that it feels very, like these are all on our big three, like playing on our big three big time. So
Hmm.
it's really interesting. And, like Mel and I have a couple of flare ups, like she's the Marzipani, she's the Mars, the Martian
I
here.
lack
And
patience sometimes. It's true.
every March, it's like me being emotional and her being like, let's go forward. And I'm just like, but we can't. And she's like, yes, we can. And I'm
I'm
like,
like, well, you're dealing with that. I'm going to go take the dog for a walk.
right. As a matter of fact, if you saw me searching around, I was looking to see what the dog was doing because she's just like, what is going on here? Why are my humans not taking me outside to put my nose in holes of other animals? She's really just like, freak.
Yes. It makes
So,
her nervous when we don't just sit around and snuggle.
so my advice to people, kind of like what Mel said in astrology today, this could be a pretty lucky week for you, and uh, you also might feel vulnerable and weird, or a little different, or doing things different. Just kind of go with it, and
Yeah.
remember that Mercury is in retrograde. So while we're having conversations, while we're having feelings and thoughts about things, if this is new, you might have whole different feelings and thoughts about those things after Mercury goes direct. And that doesn't necessarily mean like, I don't want this anymore. It might be like, a hell yeah, I want this. It might be like, oh, I've garnered some support, and yeah, I can get this done. I can do this.
Hmm.
Like, I had somebody tell me that they were 60% into this really awesome idea, and I said, you got to find the other 40%. you
Yeah.
know, you got to find that other 40% that you're lacking. So I'm here to tell you, like, I can be at least 10% of that going, this is a good idea. Go with it. You know,
Hmm.
so do that with yourself too. You got to be your own cheerleader.
Amen to that. Yes. Jennifer is a great example of being a cheerleader just in life. She's got the enthusiasm, the relentless enthusiasm that I envy and adore.
No.
Yeah. So, if you know anybody in your life out there who's like a cheerleader, who's like a human breast who just wants everybody to do better, to have what they need and do better, please, find them this week and thank them, because Jupiter is going direct, and those people are often driven by Jupiter.
I know I had somebody rolling with me yesterday and got a free donut, and that's kind of the way I roll. Like, I end up with free food, drinks, like I don't know what I have to do on the outside to make it look like people should just throw money at me, but I'm gonna figure it out.
I think it's taking off your clothes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't include doing that, but it might. I mean, I don't know. Like, you
That
should
would be
give.
my thought, though.
Okay, back to the astrology.
Yes.
Okay, so we're done with I believe that we're done with the astrology aspects for the week, and we're gonna
I think so.
switch over to the tarot portion of the show. The
Big
show.
shoe.
This shadow here, I love it. It looks like it's a straight blade ready to cut you. So maybe the second card should be, what are we cutting out this week? What are we calling in and what are we calling out?
Yes.
Ooh, what are we calling in and what are we calling out? Now that's something. How about that? Ooh,
I like it.
I like a good call out. Pick out the elephant in the room, folks. It's fun. Okay. First card. Ooh, Mama likes that.
Oh, calling in
What we're calling in is
justice.
some justice. Whoop whoop. Justice means a lot of things, y'all. And let's talk about our systems that aren't working. I want to talk about this real quick while we're looking at justice coming in. There is a man in Arkansas who was elected sheriff, and he's currently being charged with second-degree murder. And the situation is, about, unfortunately, like a sex assault, like a grooming situation or whatever with his daughter. But um, I just find it interesting that the townspeople have voted like he really did a vigilante justice there. Like there were steps that he could have followed. And there's also information that he was aiming to kill this person no matter what, which I'm telling you as a parent, like I understand this, but as far as the law is concerned, I just keep saying this guy is going to be charged with something, even if it's just manslaughter. But this whole
Mhm.
place has put like their their trust into this person who,
Right.
even
He's
said as sheriff, the only thing that he could do, because he has zero experience in law enforcement, is to hold down a desk. Like when
mhm.
asked, he literally said all he could do would be like secretarial work and office work. But really, what these people have voted for is they voted for a new system. They haven't voted for this guy, okay? They haven't voted for this person. It's that type of justice, immediate justice, all right? Knee-jerk justice is what they
Frontier
vote.
justice for real.
Knee-jerk justice. And KJJ squared. Knee-jerk justice. Ooh, did I just come up with an ism? You, we, the three, and
No,
me.
no
But
jump stones.
anyways,
No jump
really,
stones.
justice can come out in a lot of different ways, okay? And it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
you have to get back at somebody. But I really feel like all of us are looking at systems, even if it's our daily routine system, the way that people pay us or don't pay us, or how the systems
Mhm.
are taking money from us just from moving money around. Like we're really looking at all the
Mhm.
systems and how they don't work for us. There are people that don't think that ICE works for us. There are people that don't think, the government works for us at all. Like, so
Mhm.
this justice card, calling it in, I feel like it's a little different, like calling it in to question, period.
Yeah,
Justice,
what
calling
is justice? Because we see people, at the sort of top levels of society in terms of who has money and who has power, and they have completely, I mean, it's become clear that they've jettisoned the idea of protecting children, protecting women,
Mhm,
jettisoned the idea of even, sort of worrying about what those of us in the 99% uh, think, or what we experience, what we have to do with our lives, because they, they just live for their own sort of uh, weird jollies, apparently, um,
yeah,
in a way that's really distressing to learn about. And
mhm,
it really, like, casts a light on everything that we've been experiencing all of our lives, especially as women and when we were children. It really casts a light on that stuff that feels a little bit like, yeah,
mhm,
can we be done with this? Can we stop being these people now? Like, now that we see what's behind it all, what we see, that what's at the top of it all, can we just not make our lives about that anymore, about, having power over somebody, about exercising power over other people. We need a power with kind of philosophy at this time. We need to realize that when we all come together, when we are all working together, then the children get taken care of and protected. The women get taken care of and protected. Everybody, therefore, gets taken care of and protected. Feminism, the idea of having a society where women are equal, or women are in leadership. It's not about giving women power over men. It's about giving everybody the power to decide for themselves what they need to do with their lives.
right. And calling in the justice, like Christine Nome was fired from, her post. And then, there was something else I was going to say about justice, and I forgot. As far as, oh, here's some form of justice that I really admire. Today I saw, and I don't know the parameters around it, but I just briefly saw that someone has made a Hollywood Walk of Fame stars outside of the White House somewhere, with all of the people who were mentioned in the Epstein files. So there are stars with their names on them, all through. And that's somebody's form of justice, and we are calling in justice for this Epstein file stuff. Like, we might be engaging in several wars and doing all this stuff, but we're not going to allow, them to forget about the fact that we want justice for this. We're seeing justice happen to other people in other countries, and we are really not going to stand for that, man. We're going to stand for it.
Mhm. As a person in my 50s now, we have been through this enough times that we know that this war is a result of somebody not wanting something else in the headlines, and that's not acceptable because now we're going to some other place and we're killing their children to distract from the fact that they've been, um, ruining our children for years. So,
Right.
gosh darn it.
Anyhow,
Mama truckers. I'm angry about it. I had to say a little bit of something about it.
yeah. No, I'm angry about it too, and I do want justice, and I'm going to be interested to see how that justice comes about. But I also believe that, much like some other countries that are ruled with an iron fist, I feel like if this continues on, that I'm just going to call this in. I'm not calling it in, but I'm just going to call this as I'm experiencing it. But like a darkness is going to come over, and I don't mean like like the apocalypse, but I'm saying I think our government may turn off some of our capabilities of using our devices to
Yeah,
keep us in the dark for a minute. And if we get too testy about all this stuff, I really do believe that they'll do that, and we're not going to stop trying to get justice for this. So
yeah,
for all this, and yeah.
I agree.
So anyway, militance with the justice card has prevailed. My Libra sun is really activated right now.
Well, if
All
you've
right.
been watching us for a few years, you kind of know where our hearts are and our sense of justice stands. And, we don't often get like seriously political or talk very much about, like what's really in the news. But like it's such a big deal right now. There's no avoiding it. There's no not knowing what's going on. And like if you don't know what's going on, like more power to you. For
Yeah, I
real.
have to stay a little bit informed, but I can't be,
Yeah.
waist deep in politics. It can't be all I talk about. Like, oh my gosh, whatever it is that you're putting yourself into, that's what you're consumed by, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Um, this little dog is reminding me that we got to move along because she wants to move
Okay.
along outside. She's getting pretty anxious. So that's the first card. What are we calling in? We're calling in justice in all ways, whatever that means to you. Now is the time to act on it, possibly. Just remember we got Mercury in retrograde. So if you're having any conversations, those things could change, or maybe there are some things misconstrued or misunderstood during those. So just stay focused, stay balanced,
Yeah.
stay on your feet. And
Be
so,
ready to respond to the best
yeah,
of your ability. Yeah.
right, right. Yeah, it's okay to tell somebody, I appreciate your opinion, and just go along with it. In the card for what we're cutting out this week, the devil. So, for me, when I turn that over, I know exactly what this is calling out in my particular life. I started really looking at some of my daily habits that have gone back to shit, and that I need to come back around to not being so shitty, and ways in which I can help that, because there are steps I need to take, and it's really about a lot of it is about not being prepared or just being lazy. I shouldn't be eating dinner at 9 p.m. That kind of thing for me is a really big deal. So, and those treaty treats really need to go. They're not gonna all of them, the ones that the treaty treats just have to, go away for a little while. My addictions to all sorts of things are being called into question, and being dealt with. This dog is doing her thing, like,
Is
Roof,
she looking at you?
let me out. Girl, you was bossy,
This
okay?
little dog will literally stand there and stare at us and bark at us if we're not doing what she wants us to do.
She's staring deep into my eyes, even though I don't think she can see very much at all, and woofing with her ears up. Do you want to get on my lap so we can talk to still to the peoples? No, she's like, no, she's walking to the door. So anyway, this is calling into question all the things that I really don't need to be partaking in my life. And that means the things that I'm thinking about, the things that I'm consuming in all the ways, uh, you know, uh, just having a reckoning with some of the things and really putting them past me and behind me and moving forward.
You know, we watch the gemstones a lot, and there's a line in there that comes up a few times, and it's like everybody's got a little bit of the devil in them. You know, like we all have our angelic side and we all have our devilish, fiendish side. And our devilish, fiendish side, it helps us get attached to things. We all do this. It helps us get attached to things that don't really serve us, that, might make matters even a little bit worse for us or harder for us, might have us operating in secrecy part of the time, that kind of thing. And we feel like, oh, I need this to get through, this is my coping mechanism, and this is how I do it. Hello, little doggy. And you
Yeah.
know uh, I feel like we're not ever going to completely get rid of having coping mechanisms. I think sometimes at best it's like moving these codependencies around, like, oh, I'm gonna stop drinking, but now I'm gonna smoke more pot, or oh, I'm gonna, stop binge eating, but but now I get to eat a pint of ice cream every Sunday afternoon, that kind of thing. So, some trade-offs will happen when you're trying to call out and leave behind those old codependencies, those old ways of coping. They're not working for you anymore. At least at this time, it's a good idea to examine what those attachments are that you use to cope. If it's your cigarette, if it's your soda pop, if it's your candy bar, what can you put in that might be a little bit better for you? What can you add to your routine rather than just trying to subtract something out of it that makes it more of a healthy attachment? You can look at it that way, like, oh, I'm not going to drink soda today. I'm going to drink water, that kind of thing. I had a really good cherry water yesterday that I enjoyed. I don't know how good it was for me, but it was probably better than a Diet Coke. So just putting that out there, these attachments that we're trying to call off and get rid of, they're kind of all the same things at this point in my life that I'm always trying to shake off, like, uh, that I'm always trying to, like, oh, but I really like this, but I really don't need it. You don't have to go completely cold turkey, but we do have to start looking at where those things can either be, sort of limited or changed over to something that's a little more positive habit.
I love that. Thank you so much for that insight. I agree with that. Um, because I'm distracted, I'm gonna have to get off. We're gonna have to end this. The dog.
Okay. Yeah.
She is not gonna. She is relentless, and I understand relentlessness.
We
So
love relentlessness.
thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for allowing me to abruptly end this so we can tend to the doggy woggiesly. This week, I feel like is going to be a good week. We're going to focus on what we can control, which is ourselves and the things that are around us in our world that we can control, and not pay attention to the bigger, badder things out there that we have no control over. And I think that we'll be able to stay grounded a little bit more. Give yourself
Mhm.
plenty of time, space, and grace.
Give yourself plenty of time, space, and grace, and trust your guidance. Trust your internal guidance system at this time.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and tell other people about our channel. And we will be back next week at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to discuss astrology insights.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
friends. Much love. See you in the next video.